What are three things you like about Lynqify?
The three things I really liked about Lynqify, number one is really its simplicity. A lot of the softwares that I've been in, as we've scaled, I've seen a whole lot of complexity to it. It really takes some times. I think, and when I say simplistic, one of the very first things that I looked at and saw was, for the example, before we prepare the whole proposal, was the ability to kind of copy and then send something to the customer. What are you thinking about this? And the ability to kind of really quickly make changes before making the final proposal. I think the second one would have to be whenever you're looking at something where you may be close on numbers, being able to change the team. So from an in-house team that has more overhead attached to it versus a sub, well, maybe as a business you can make the same amount of margin but reduce your exposure and bring in a sub. And so the ability to quickly assign one team versus another with a click of a button is super helpful. I think it also helps in the matter of even understanding that as a business owner, if you were to sell it using your in-house team, but there was a conflict, being able to know that you could bring that subcontractor in and actually maybe even be more profitable, I think that allows you to make smarter decisions as a business owner, right? And at the end of the day, we're in business for profit. I think honestly the third thing was the proposals. A lot of these softwares that are super big in the industry, the UI of the proposal is really terrible. So to be able to have a software that allows you to really go in depth with your estimating, like Synced Up or a Job Tread. However, to be able to also take that and then spit out the look of a proposal like Proposalify really gives business owners a good win when it in terms of value added punch for the cost of Lynqify.
Awesome. How would you rate Lynqify compared to other estimating software that you're familiar with?
So I would think for me, I would rate Lynqify as the ones I've used, we definitely are playing at the top level. And I just don't say that just to say it. What I mean by that is that the complexity of jobs that can happen in the hardscape industry can really cause a lot of time in estimating. When we were going through Lynqify, what I really liked was the ability to really build stuff out and quickly make changes. That the time that you're saving could be used into, well, do we have everything covered in the design? Is the design like exactly what we want, right? Because we don't have unlimited time, especially when you're running at scale. So you have to find ways. And what I've really liked about what I saw was how easy those things were to maneuver around, but also the UI UX of the platform. A lot of these other softwares that they're really good at what they do, but they don't have the greatest UI UX. And I think there's a lot of people who work in the landscape industry that are not crazy computer savvy. And so being able to give them something that's super easy to do that. And then I think one of the other big factors I think pointed out, especially when it comes to the estimating part, comparing it to others, is how we're able to click and put in certain requirements, and it tells you how many hours it actually should take. So it takes the guesswork out of being like, I think this will take me 40 hours. No, we know this will take us 170 hours. And so to be able to do that and then it auto-populate those fields, as far as I'm concerned, Lynqify is the only software that's doing that, and that absolutely makes it a win, in my opinion, as a business owner.
Let's go. That's awesome. Thank you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think Lynqify will succeed in the competitive market and why?
So being the realist that I am, just looking at where you're at now and kind of the first version that's going to come out, I think Lynqify is going to be ranked towards the top. I would put it in the top 5. I don't know that I'm going to say it's number 1 because it's a new software. The challenge is I think a lot of people are so gung-hos on interactive softwares that do it all, whether, like a Synced Up, right, where it's really they dial into your numbers, they do this. What I really like about Lynqify is it focuses on the number one thing, estimating in a proposal. And there's a lot of contractors who need a really solid estimating and proposal software that does not use all of the features of these more in-depth softwares. And so I think that, in fact, there's probably 80+% of contractors that don't use what the other more in-depth softwares use. And so I really think that when you look at removing those couple big hitters that are out there, then you're talking about a software that does estimates and then having to have another software that does proposals. If you just look at those two features, we can easily take Lynqify from being in the top 5 and move it into the top 2 probably.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's something. And then obviously knowing you, as long as I've known you, I really think that you're going to take the community feedback and invest more into refining the estimating and proposal side before adding additional features like the man-hour rate, the job cost tracking, all of that stuff. And so I think that's something that is really good. And I think the people that trust in Lynqify and obviously your reputation that you have in the industry and me knowing you and the conversations we have on a regular basis, I know you and I very much align with the details and making things sure are perfect. So I know that those people are definitely going to have a product that's going to work and function well for them. And ultimately it's going to save them time, which then ultimately is saving them money.
If you were to recommend Lynqify to other contractor, what would you tell them about?
Yeah, if I was to go to my buddy and recommend the software, I mean, just say, look, guys, it's really simple. It's very user-friendly. It creates a very beautiful proposal that makes you look better than 95% of the competition. And for the amount of time it saves you, the minimal cost for what Lynqify is going to cost, you're actually putting money in your pocket. And then it's very simple, right? Would you switch softwares to go to something that's going to make your proposals look better and add more money to your pocket? And if the answer is yes, then you should sign up for Lynqify.
Let's go. That's awesome. Thank you, bro.